share my screen. Okay. So I'll get started with the presentation itself, since we've done the invocation prayers now. Hare Krishna. All glories to our Gurudev, who is our savior, because without him, not sure where we all would have been today. And the chances of knowing this pastime would have been like really, really slim. So just our humble obeisances and all the gratitude for our beloved Acharya and the spiritual master, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Okay, introduction. So these all just a kind of a quick parts about what it is all about. So the Lord is the original form of the supreme manifestation, and he is not he is an avatar and he is not an avatar. So generally people say that Krishna is one of the avatar of the Dashavatara, but the fact is that he is the avatar, he is the original himself, and he's not one of the avatars. And when the Lord appeared on this earth in his original form itself, he appeared to fight against the evil powers that was troubling his devotees. Not just that, but majorly to give pleasure to his associates, to all the devotees, and to enjoy the pastimes on the planet Earth. And the Lord Krishna also enjoyed the pastimes in Gokula, Nandagaon, and Vrindavan. And I think when he grows up, he also goes to Dwarka and comes back to Mathura. And then, yeah, the pastimes never ends. Yeah, it continues in several other places. And while the Supreme Lord came onto the earth, all the demigods found an opportunity to also appear on the earth, and they wanted to take a part in the beautiful pastimes. But I think they were given a chance to kind of stay apart, probably in Mathura or other surroundings, and to envision all the beautiful pastimes that the Lord played with all his very loving associates. And Krishna's birth was considered as an end of miserable lives, because all of his devotees, and especially the Mother Earth, was going through a lot of pain with how the devotees were being, living a miserable life, and the heaviness of the earth was reaching its heights, and the Mother Bhumi could not tolerate that anymore because of all the chaos that the Kamsa and his group of people were presenting to the public. And the Lord was born on the 8th day, that's called as Ashtami, and it was the dark fortnight called the Krishna Paksha in the Shravana month. And how do we celebrate? So generally devotees fast the entire day until the midnight, and they break the fast at the midnight. And devotees also chant as much as Mahamantras that they can, and various shlokas to please the Lord, and in glorification of the Lord. And where we also perform a Pushpanjali with 108 of names of the Lord Krishna. The Lord is fond of butter and the yogurt. We all know that, and we make tons and loads of sweets prepared out of the milk and the yogurt on that day, and offer it to the Supreme Lord. And yeah, we also please the Lord with various performances like dance and the dramas, and now depicting the life and all the leelas, pastimes of the Lord. There is also a Ras Leela dance that happens in the Vrindavan by his devotees for the pleasure of the Lord. And Dahi Handi, it's an enactment of the Lord Krishna's efforts to steal the butter from the Vrindavan. So I think that this happens in the roads of the Vrindavan and the Mathuras, where people would come onto them. They make the gopuras where they get onto top of each other, and then the competition of who would break the butter pots. They're like the fun activities for the enjoyment of devotees and the Supreme Lord himself. And is the different names of the Lord: Madhav, Giridhari, Banwari, Bal Gopal is all the most beloved names of the Lord that the devotees give him. And these are a couple of most popular Krishna temples in India. So we have in Vrindavan, we have few in Jaipur, Udaipur, Dwarka, Dhams. Yeah. And so there are several pastimes of the Lord, and today we are going to focus majorly on just the appearance of the Lord itself. And what is the significance of knowing this one? Would anyone like to recite this verse, please?
Shall I do it?
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vedi tatvata vyaktva deham punarjanma neti mam eti sararjana. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my abode, O Arjun.
Thank you, Mataji. It's such a glorious thing of knowing the birth of the Lord, the appearance of the Lord. Just by knowing this, the soul who is aware of the glorious appearance of the Lord and the difference between the appearance of the Lord and the birth of the normal souls like us. And such person would be transmitted to the spiritual abode at the end of this life, and he doesn't have to take birth again in this material world. So that's a great secret, isn't it? Great benediction for all of us who are going to read this pastime today. So just to have a quick background of where it all started from. So it so happens that one point of time, Bhumi Devi, who is struggling with overburden of all the calamities by these demoniac kings, Kamsa and all his friends and the associates and the demons. So she becomes really depressed, and she goes to Lord Brahma, to say that, oh, dear Lord Brahma, see, this is the current condition, and I'm like seeking a solution. Is there something that you can help me with by talking to the Supreme Lord? And here there is another thing that we have to see. Bhumi Devi is the very wife of the Supreme Lord himself. And the question would be, why does she go to Lord Brahma when she can very much approach the Supreme Lord by herself? Do anyone have any guesses? Why? Any guesses, maybe?
Please tell us, Mataji. Excuse me.
Right.
Please tell us.
So this is a demonstration of how a devotee or how a normal person has to approach the Supreme Lord or the Lordships when we are in calamities. It is not for the Bhumi Devi as a concert herself, but it is to demonstrate for us as a jiva when we are facing calamities. So we have to take, look at the way she takes the shape of a cow and presents herself before the Lord Brahma with tears in her eyes, and she bereaved and was weeping just to invoke the Lord's compassion. So this is the way in which we will have to approach the Supreme Lord, and we are always the servants of the servants of the servants. We do not approach the Lord directly, but we go through his servants and the servants and the servants, and then we will have to go in a really in a way where we can invoke the Lord's compassion. So we would not pray generally with the attitude of a pride to we. So there's a demonstration that the Bhumi Devi is showing to us. So she's following the hierarchy. As a normal person, she assumes the shape of a cow because cow is the most beloved of the Supreme Lord. So she assumes that shape so the Lord can show her mercy. And she goes to the servant of the Supreme Lord, and then she conveys that this is the issue that I'm facing, and maybe it's something that only the Supreme Lord can help. She could have just approached Brahma himself, who is a creator, and she could have also gone to Lord Shiva saying that, look, there is a problem, is there something that you can help me? But she did not do that, because even though when there are so many other demigods who are very powerful are also present, the Bhumi Devi prefers to go to the Supreme Lord himself, because she knows he is the only one who protects the devotees as in the cow, who's a devotee of the Lord. And he's the only one who can reduce the heaviness on the earth that occurs due to the disturbance of the demon kings. yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata. So as the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita verse, he descends onto the earth and the other planets to reduce the heaviness caused by the demons and to protect his devotees. So that is the reason Bhumi Devi approaches Lord Brahma, but in order to go to the Supreme Lord. So and then what happens? Lord Brahma, so Bhumi Devi approaches the Supreme Lord, and then Lord Brahma says, all right, let us go to the Supreme Lord and, talk about this one. And then all the demigods, it's not just the Lord Brahma, but all of the demigods get together, they discuss that there is a problem. So as a solution, we are not going to take a decision, but then we are going to approach the Supreme Lord so that he can provide us a solution. So a learning for us in this one is when we have an issue, when we have a trouble, we should always understand that the solution is always provided by the Supreme Lord and not amongst ourselves, no matter however powerful or how intelligent we are. So there's again another demonstration. So what happens when they all want to approach the Supreme Lord? He resides in the Shvetadvipa, the ocean of milk, and he would be generally living with the goddess Lakshmi. So when all of the gods, the demigods' kingdom, reach there, they very humbly they offer the prayers to the Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, because they cannot again see the Supreme Lord Krishna directly, who lives in the Golok Vrindavan. So even in terms of the access, the Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma can only reach out up to the Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, which is in the causal nature, causal ocean, sorry. And again, it's not a direct visibility. The Lord will not appear right in front of them and talk to them face to face. So generally Brahma prays to the Lord. They offer various prayers, and then the Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, who is residing on the causal ocean, he sends a message back to Lord Brahma in the meditation. So and the Lord Brahma spreads the message across to the God's kingdom, and it is not even a direct message. So we have to understand the level and the position of the Supreme Lord, and how difficult is it for demigods like Lord Shiva and Brahma themselves to reach out to them and to speak to them. And while they're even involved in the service of maintaining this universe, in that case, as devotees, we should understand where should we keep the level of our pride, and we must understand the value of having the devotional service and having access to pray to the Lord to receive the reciprocations. And I think we really have to be humble, by valuing the real value of having the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, not just the different forms of Vishnu. And when the Lord goes into, when the Brahma goes into meditation, he conveys that, oh dear Lord, they offer the Purusha Sukta prayers, which is one of the best Vedic hymns that the Lord loves. And Brahma conveys that there is an issue like this, so could you please help us? And the Lord Brahma receives a prayer saying that, oh dear Brahma, don't worry, the Supreme Lord, in its original form himself, as Sri Krishna, is going to take birth very soon on the earth. It's not very far, and it is going to be a really glorified appearance, because this is the first time, or probably this is the only one form in which he is going to come in his original forms with all his original potencies, powerful potencies. Because generally when the Lord has to kill the demons or fight against something that's causing the disturbance in the society, he might take different forms, like the Shavatara, come in a different forms and then just kill the demons and then go back. But this time he's coming in his own original form with all his potencies, and by himself, who is like the two-handed form, keeping a flute and the peacock feather and the three bent shaped Sri Krishna. And I hereby order that all of the demigods can get ready, and then you all can go back to the earth, take birth, in some of the pious families in Mathura, Vrindavan, and get ready, set the stage so that the Lord, Supreme Lord, can arrive, and then he can start playing the Leelas. And it is not just going to be for the killing of the demons, but it is also going to be the most pleasurable pastimes that the Lord is going to perform on the earth today. And along with that, there are two more avatars that are going to come. So one of the plenary portion, who is the first incarnation, first expansion rather, who is called Ananta, the Shesha Naga, the snake bed on which the Lord resides, is also going to appear along with the Supreme Lord, and he's going to come first before Shri Krishna to set the stage again. Along with them, the Maya, who is the internal potency of the Lord, who is generally worshipped as Durga Devi, is also going to appear to execute some of the purpose in this. And that happens, and the demigods come back, and then they all, come back to earth, and they start taking different roles, and then they take birth in Mathura, Vrindavan, here and there, and they keep doing the preparation for the right time to arrive. When the Supreme Lord arrives, and it has to be ready for him to, do the job. So what happens? Vasudeva and the Devaki, the divine parents of the Supreme Lord. So their wedding was just done, and they would be going back home on the chariot, the newly wedded couple, and Kamsa, who is the beloved brother of Devaki, he would be driving the chariot. And then he gets some sudden aerial sound message that says, "Oh Kamsa, what a fool are you? You are driving the chariot of your sister and your brother-in-law, but you do not know that the 8th child of the sister will kill you," which means you're riding your own death. And Kamsa gets shocked. What? And he's like, he tried to kill, Devaki right then and there, but it was not good on him. So Vasudeva tried to convince Kamsa, saying that no, you are a nice person, you are the king, and it is not very good if you do this thing, because she's just recently married, and just because of fear of the death, and you should not be doing that. It won't retain your respect. So, but rather what he suggests is, if you are afraid of the death from the 8th child, I can do one thing. I can give. We may not have children, basically, but even if we have, I can ensure that I will surrender all the children that we get to you, so that you can do whatever you want with them. And if you think the child is going to kill you, maybe you may choose to kill the child, but please spare your sister, who is my current wife. And here a point worth to be noted is that Vasudeva also preaches Kamsa, saying that the death is just on the back of everyone. The moment that a person is born in this world, death is a return, and it is going to happen anytime, in any manner, and one should not be afraid of the death. So why are you so panicked? But then Kamsa, who lives in the mode of ignorance, is very fearful of death, and they do not want to take the preachings, right? So he would not bother about that. So, but then, however, just to save his respect in front of the entire chariot and the people around who are very happily enjoying the marriage festival, so he would accept the proposal given by Vasudeva. And but then immediately would arrest them, put them behind the bars in the Mathura jail. So over the time, there would be children born. Every time that there is a child born, so Vasudeva has to take it and then give it to Kamsa, because that was the agreement. And one might wonder, how can Vasudeva even do that? He was a man, and why did he not save his wife and the children? And how cruel could be his heart? And how can he let the child be killed? Shastra says, a saintly person can tolerate all kinds of miserable conditions of life. A learned man can discharge his duties without awaiting favorable circumstances. A heinous person like Kamsa can act in any sinful way, and a devotee can sacrifice anything to satisfy the Supreme Lord of Godhead. Vasudeva is known as a Satyanishta. He is always the most truthful person, and he is genuine, he is always honest, and he does not cheat on his words. He would always keep his words, and just because of the promise that he gave to Vasudeva, and he thinks that whatever circumstances comes in one's life, it is all the mercy of the Lord, and it is the will of the Lord, and the devotee would not go against the will of the Lord. So to adhere to that, Vasudeva made up his mind, and as a duty, he surrendered to the Supreme Lord as a service, and living up to the will of the Lord, he ensured that without much emotions, staying the sattvic gun, just to abide by his words, he handed over all the 6 children to Kamsa. And then comes the time for the 7th child. So Devaki becomes pregnant for the second one, but the 7th one is going to be Sheshanaga this time, Balaram. And he's a plenary expansion of Krishna, plenary expansion again, who is equal in all of the opulences, all the powers, is exact replica of the Supreme Lord himself. That's called a plenary expansion. And the first expansion is the Sankarshana, who is nothing but Balaram. He's also called as Ananta, appears in the womb of Devaki. But Devaki was overwhelmed. She knows that 7th child again is going to be killed. And she was one way she was happy, another side she was sad again. But Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is very compassionate, and he reads the mind, the heart of a devotee. So he could not see the tears of Devaki anymore. So he orders Yogamaya, the Durga Devi, who is the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. He says, so at the present moment, my plenary expansion, Shesha, is within the womb of Devaki. Please arrange the transfer of Shesha from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. Rohini is another wife of Vasudeva. She would be living away from Vasudeva, though. She was actually protected under the shelter of Nanda Maharaj. So here the arrangement is that one wife, who is Devaki, so from her womb, they're going to take the baby into the womb of Rohini, who is another wife of Vasudeva. And after which, I am personally going to appear in the womb of Devaki as a 8th child, with my full potencies as a son of Devaki and Vasudeva. And along with that, you shall also appear as the daughter of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda in Vrindavan. My plenary expansion, Ananta, Shesha, is within the womb of Devaki on account of being forcibly attracted to forcibly attracted to the womb of Rohini. So there's a wonderful science that the current science has still not been able to, kind of replicate. And I mean, look at the miraculous transfer that even before the baby was born, the baby was transferred from one womb to another womb without any physical transfer itself. And the energy was forcibly attracted to another womb, because of which the baby will get the name called Sankarshana. In Sanskrit, Sankarshana means a forcible contraction. And he will be the source of all the spiritual power, or bala, by which one can attain the highest bliss of life, which is called Ramana. Ramana means happiness, bliss. And he is the source of all the spiritual power. Therefore, the plenary portion of Ananta will be known after his appearance either as Sankarshana or Balaram. So many times we feel that we are struggling so hard, we're not able to perform our sadhana, and we are not progressing in bhakti, or maybe I'm spiritually weak. So that's when we go to Balaram, asking for bala, the strength, the spiritual strength, to make us more powerful and strong enough, to perform our spiritual practices and to make us strong in bhakti. And the Supreme Lord also says, Yogamaya, that you will appear as my contemporary sister, because she's going to take birth in the Nanda Maharaj Yashoda's house as my sister, and because you will be very you will give all the benedictions that the people generally would want, and the people will worship you as a Durga Devi, and they will worship you with all the paraphernalias, and you would be known by these 8 names: Durga, Bhadrakali, Vijaya, Vaishnavi, Kumada, Chandika, Krishna. It's not the Supreme Lord Krishna, that's just Krishna, and this is Krishna, who is the female name, basically. The energy of Krishna is also called Krishna. Madhavi, Kanyaka, Maya, Narayani, Ishani, Sharada, and Ambika. So as the Supreme Lord says, Yogamaya goes ahead and makes the changes. She transfers the baby, the womb, from Devaki to the womb of Rohini, and nobody gets to know about that. Everybody just lives as they are, and it happens overnight. And while Devaki and Rohini both were asleep by yoga nidra. I mean, this is a different form of a spiritual nidra, where anything happens in your body and you would not be able to identify that. Spiritual form of anesthesia. So when this was done, people thought Devaki was actually carrying the seventh child, correct? And now that baby is transferred into Rohini's womb. So people thought seventh pregnancy has been miscarriage, so they do not bother about that. Thus, although the Balram, who is the actual seventh baby, he appeared in the womb of Rohini as her son. After this arrangement, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is ready to protect his unalloyed devotees, entered within the mind of Vasudeva as the Lord of the whole creation with full inconceivable potencies. Maybe this is something that we need to contemplate on more deeply. When the Supreme Lord, how do we all come to the earth? It's basically between the physical connection between a man and a woman. But when the Supreme Lord comes, it does not require a physical unity of a male and a female. He says the Supreme Lord entered within the mind of Vasudeva. He doesn't have to enter the physical body. He entered the mind of Vasudeva as the Lord of the whole creation with full. Okay, he appeared in the Lord of Vasudeva, and then he was transferred into the mind of Devaki. So it was not a physical or a bodily transfer, but it is the mental transfer. The Lord was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva into the mind of Devaki. It is understood that in this connection that the Lord Krishna first of all situated himself in the unalloyed heart of Vasudeva and then transferred to the heart of Devaki. He was not put into the womb of Devaki by seminal discharge. So Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all the demigods take a birth in Mathura. Some would be in the house of Kamsa doing their own jobs, not knowing that they are the demigods, not revealing that the Supreme Lord is going to arrive. Everybody would just, involve in their day-to-day activities, and they pray to the Supreme Lord. When the Lord gets into the womb of Devaki as eighth child, so everybody starts praying. The Lord comes to the earth, and it's the most auspicious, thing ever. So they offer various prayers. So this again for us, when we see the Lord, when the arrival of the Lord happens, it's about glorifying the Lord. Vedas have like a lot of prayers, and demigods have a lot of prayers. It's all about how a prayer is not something where we go and ask, oh dear Lord, I don't have this and this, please give me this, please give me that, fulfill all my desires, fulfill all my wishes. No, prayer is more about glorifying the Lord. It's about we understanding, we knowing, we learning the real knowledge as it is, and glorifying that for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. And then once he's pleased, he's within the hands of the devotees, because devotion is always stronger than the Supreme Lord himself, that you all know. So and it's our very duty to offer the prayers to the Supreme Lord when he arrives. And they call him as Satyam Param, who is the supreme absolute truth. There is nobody equal to you or over or above you, and you are the absolute truth, who is not relative to any time, circumstances, or a place. You are always absolute. Krishna descends to this world just to protect the pious and destroy the impious. That's his vow. As he promises in Bhagavad Gita, that when the heaviness and the negative power on the world, on the earth increases, he always descends onto this earth to vanish the demons. So the demigods could understand very gladly that the Lord has taken his residence in the womb of Devaki now. And wherever the Lord, appears or resides, that's called a dham. And now Devaki's womb is a dham. And Krishna's body is eternal. He existed before the material manifestation, before this entire creation was created. And he's existing even while it is there, while it continues. And he's going to be there even when the entire universe, this material existence, is dissolved. The Supreme Lord will still continue to exist, while there would be no people, there would be no demigod, there would be no other living entities. And that is the position of the Supreme Lord. So there's another beautiful prayer. It might be a little technical, but there is one of the beautiful but more insightful prayer in the Kathopanishad. So it says, if somebody is interested in understanding this more deeply, so there are two birds on a tree sitting. One is eating the fruits of the tree, who is the living entity, and the other is simply sitting and watching, witnessing what the living entity eats. What that actually means is, The tree on which these two birds are sitting, it has the roots of the tree extends in 3 directions. What are the 3 directions? It's the 3 modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So these are the roots of the tree on which the living entity is sitting and eating the fruits. And what are those fruits? There are the fruits are of 4 tastes: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So the living entity is sitting or probably imbibed with these 3 nature, and it is eating the fruits of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And it is, these fruits are accepted through 5 senses. We know the 5 senses. These 5 sense organs through which the knowledge is acquired are subject to 6 kind of whips. So these, even though the fruits are like very sweet in taste, but they do not produce a good result for us. It produces the whips that are lamentation, illusion, infirmity, death, hunger, and thirst. This material body or material manifestation is covered by 7 layers. That's the skin, muscle, blood, marrow, bone, fat, and semen. The branches of the tree are 8. So these are the branches of the tree. So the roots of the tree are the 3 modes of nature, and the branches are 8: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego. There are 9 gates to this body. We all know that, I think. And there are 10 kinds of internal air passing within the body. I mean, these are the different pranas, where the air flows in different directions in the 9 gates of the body. Any questions on this part particularly? I know it's a bit philosophical.
No, Mataji. Nice.
Yeah, maybe I think this is something we can just take away and just sit and contemplate on how the bird who is sitting on a tree with these 3 trees and these branches and having these fruits, and how these fruits are affecting us rather than giving us a pleasure or a good nutrition, but they're giving us something bad results, and how we are suffering, with all this material body we have. When we eat something poisonous, toxic, it goes into our stomach and it gives us, all the bad results in our body, isn't it? We have problems with the eyes, stomach, itching, ear, everywhere we get the problems. So here we have this material body, and we have all this 8, 9, 10 different, all the physical, organs and tissues, and this bad toxic fruits that we're eating through these 4 things, dharma, kama, moksha, they're giving us such a bad result. And then we're suffering rather than actually being happy eating the fruits. But to protect us, there is also another bird sitting on the same tree who is simply sitting and watching and witnessing of what we do, and he's not going to, call out to us until we call out to him, because we have actually turned away from him, saying that, okay, no, I'm gonna eat these fruits and I'm going to enjoy, thinking it's very sweet and it's going to give us something good. So we've asked him, do not disturb, until I eat this. But the living entity doesn't know that it's a poisonous fruit, and when I eat that, it's not going to be good for me. And when the jiva realizes, that's when he turns back to the other bird, to the Paramatma, says that, oh Lord, I'm very sorry. I've turned away and I've eaten this poisonous fruit, which is causing me trouble now. So kindly do something and get all these fruits and its toxic, impact on me. So please save me. And prayers of demigods. So demigods would continue to glorify the Lord from wherever they are, in Mathura, Kamsa's house, etc. They say the root cause of the entire material manifestation is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, who expands himself again to take charge of the 3 qualities of the material world. So demigods are not something like different souls like us. But the Supreme Lord himself expands to take the in charge, in 3 different modes of the qualities, to sustain this material world. He comes as a Vishnu, takes charge of mode of goodness, as a Brahma, mode of passion, the Lord Shiva, mode of ignorance, so that Brahma can do the creation, Vishnu can do the sustenance, and Lord Shiva can do the annihilation. Supreme Lord Krishna is appearing just for the maintenance of this manifestation. I mean, he did not really have to arrive, because there are servants in his cabinet, all the demigods who can do this job, or even the Lord can come in different form like a Dashavatara and to do this job. But then he is now appearing as he promised that I would also maintain as in I would maintain the heaviness when it gets heavy with the bad creature, and I would maintain my devotees, and because of which he's appearing personally. It's very difficult to understand your eternal form or personality. People in general, they're unable to understand. Therefore, you're personally descending to exhibit your original eternal form. So people always get confused. I mean, even in the form of Krishna, people said it's one of the avatar. But in this form, the Lord really wanted to exhibit his original form to show people that this is my original form itself. I'm not an avatar. But still, very unfortunately, people somehow get to the understanding of different incarnations. But they're puzzled to understand the eternal form of Krishna with two hands, moving among human beings, exactly like one of them, how bewildering it is. I mean, including for the greatest souls like Brahma, who was bewildered that he could not believe it's the Supreme Lord. When the Lord was sitting and eating food in Vrindavan, he was playing with the cows and the other boys. So it's not difficult for the normal jivas for us to get bewildered. So this eternal form of your lordship gives ever-increasing transcendental pleasure to the devotees, and this is the form, which is a pleasure-giving form to the devotees. But for the non-devotees and impersonalists, they can never understand this, and even if they try to understand this personal form of the Krishna, it's very dangerous because they can actually never understand this, and they cannot understand that his name is even identical with his form itself. They also say, please let me know if you think I'm going more deep into the prayers, because I thought it's more important for us to glorify and to learn these prayers. But if anybody finds it a bit too much, please let me know so I can maybe quickly wrap up the prayers and go to the upcoming slides.
Yes, Mataji, may I interrupt? It's now nearly 7:15.
Mhm.
Anybody would like to leave, they can. But if anybody would like to stay on, please do. And we will finish in about 10 minutes, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind, then
No,
we have to get
definitely.
ready for Chad.
Sure.
For Chad
Definitely.
as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so here it says, to understand the real nature of the Supreme Lord, it's not possible by mental speculation. And that is how, even if you sit and speculate for millions of years, it's never possible to understand the Lord. But the real, only one way is to get into the devotional service, and that's the only way to understand the absolute nature and the real transcendental form and the qualities of the Supreme Lord. When you walk on the globe, your lotus feet will impress the ground with the marks of your soul, such as flag, trident, and the thunderbolt. Thus you will grace the earth and us on the heavenly planets who shall see those marks. This happened because the Bhumi Devi was really depressed with all these tantrums, and the Lord wanted to come and console her, who is his very wife. And he wanted to give that pleasure and console to the devotees. So, he came onto his earth on his personal form and is giving the pleasure, which is not possible in the other forms. You are unborn, therefore we do not find any reason for your appearance other than your pleasurable pastimes. Yes, and these are the different names, that is called by beloved devotees. Devotees don't need a boat to cross over the ocean of material existence. So when we talk about, impersonalists who do not understand the real self of the Lord, it takes millions of years and they still fail to get to the Supreme Lord to achieve the salvation. They think that they have attained something, but they do not know that it's a temporary liberation from this material world, but very quickly they're going to fall back. But for the devotees, when they simply approach the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, who is the whole ocean of the material essence, the entire material ocean is reduced to the size of the water in a calf's footprint, maybe something like this or even lesser. So they do not need a boat to cross away. They can simply jump with a fun, and it is so easy achievable for devotees who takes to the Supreme Lord in a devotional service. I'll share the slides across, so you may probably go through offline if you like to. So the birth of the Supreme Lord, most auspicious one. So the Lord says, what is the difference between our birth and the Lord's appearance? We don't call it as a birth for the Supreme Lord. It's an appearance because he always exists. So he will only appear and then disappear. But we souls, we take birth, which means the soul gets encaged in a body which is taken birth in the mother's womb, and then it dies. So that's why it's called as a birth and death for us. It's the appearance and the disappearance for the Lord. So unlike any, I mean, the Lord's activities again is all transcendental, unlike that of an ordinary man who is forced to accept a material body. So the Lord is not forced to accept any body; it's His wish. If He likes, He can come. If He doesn't wish, He may not come. But for us, we do not have a choice. We all take birth here because of our karmas and to suffer for those karmas. So even if we do not wish, but there is nobody who's going to spare us. We are forced, we are literally pushed into the womb of 84 lakhs of the living entities, and we have to take birth in wherever we are pushed into as per our previous karmas. But the Lord comes by His own will, for His own pleasure, and He can leave whenever He likes to. He's totally free, He's not bound, but we are bound. We will not be able to take birth when we want, how we want, and we will not be able to leave either. So the Lord to appeared in a month of Shravan, Krishna Paksha Ashtami Tithi Rohini Nakshatra, and how the Mother Earth welcomed the appearance of the Supreme Lord. It was such a the entire atmosphere, environment was like a Yugadi, the first day of the year, how we say Samvatsar. It was all green, and auspicious stars were visible in the sky, and we had the rivers flowing with full of waters, beautifully decorated lotus flowers, birds, peacocks chirping, and everybody was very happy. There were like priors, all the other Gandhavas, all the demigods, who were not taken birth. So everybody did a pushpa vrishti, shower of flowers to welcome the Lord. So it was a warm welcome to the Lord when He appeared on the earth. And even Vasudeva and Devaki, when the Lord appeared, even they offered their prayers. So we should understand that when their own father and a mother could offer the prayers to the Supreme Lord, being their own father and a mother who are very much qualified to chastise the Lord, we must understand, be mindful of our position, just being the jivas, part and parcel of the Lord. So basically they say that you are the very supreme Lord, who is not even reachable to the greatest demigods. But if you've taken a birth, or you're appearing in my womb, we do not know what punya, the good deeds that we have done. We cannot imagine the pity or we do not know what we've done. Basically, I don't know what is the reason for your grace on us, which is very unattainable for anybody else. And both Vasudeva and Devaki, offers a lot of prayers, and that pleases the Lord. So when Lord appears, He appears actually like this, with a form. He do not appear like us, like in a bare body and nothing. He comes in His original form, right? He has all this Shankh, Chakra, Gada, Padma, and He wears this crest jewel, and with his kirita, with the garland, and with his clothes and everything. And so the parents would start offering prayer, and the Lord is like, oh my God, I've come here to enjoy with my devotees, and they are treating me like the Supreme Lord. No, I want to be treated like their baby. I want the love, I want their affection, and not the prayers now again. So then immediately the Lord would turn into a small baby, and with the power of Yoga Maya, He makes the parents forget of the fact that He's the Supreme Lord. This again, the prayers of Devaki and Vasudeva, I've just quickly run through. So he would become from the normal four-handed form of Vishnu into a small baby. And the Supreme Lord says, He actually says what punya they have done, because the God can come as their baby. So they've done a really very hard, rigorous sadhana in several years in the previous incarnations. And when the Lord finally appeared, they did not ask for any benediction or a salvation, but Devaki asked that they want to have the Supreme Lord as their baby. And to fulfill that, the Lord blessed her, that she would become a baby as the son of Devaki in one of the lives. So as soon as the baby, now the Krishna becomes in the small baby form, now and they're very afraid, they're very happy, but they're very afraid at the same time, because if Kamsa gets to know that the baby is born, he's going to come and kill the baby. So what do? They're very afraid, and they praise to the Supreme Lord that you please either disappear or maybe don't be visible to our eyes, because we are very afraid of Kamsa. Then the Lord says, don't worry, I'm the shelter of everything. I am the Abhaya, who takes away the fearfulness of devotees. So while I'm here, why do you worry? Then the Supreme Lord gives a plan to Vasudeva. He says that he turns into an ordinary child, and he says that, so in Vrindavan, Nanda Baba and Yashoda are giving a birth to a female child. So what you have to do is just take me out of the jail and exchange the baby with a baby girl who is born for Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. And I would go there and you will bring the baby girl over here. And Vasudeva says, everything is locked. The jail is totally, it's solidly locked and I cannot go out. And all our hands and the legs are tied by the rope, by the chains. Supreme Lord says, you just start trying and I will give you the way. So, and as soon as Vasudeva starts carrying the baby, everything, becomes loosened and everything opens by itself automatically. And it was actually mid of dark night, but it appears like a sunlight in the normal daytime to Vasudeva, so that there were no obstacles to carry the baby. And all of the security guards who were waiting at the jail, everybody falls asleep. They were covered by the yoga nidra by Maya. So nobody would actually witness this situation. So he actually crosses Yamuna and he carries the baby all the way from Mathura to Vrindavan. And so he exchanges. So again, over there, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, they also fall asleep by Yoga Nidra. They would not even know that Vasudeva has gone there and he exchanged the baby, and then he just comes back as is to the jail. And as soon as he comes back, he gets into, and everything gets closed by itself, and the security guards would then wake up. And what happens on the other side? Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, they just wake up in the morning to see that there is a baby boy, while they actually give the birth to the baby girl, who is nothing but Yogamaya. They wake up in the morning to see that, oh, there is Krishna, there is a baby boy, and they actually celebrate the festival. It would be a grand celebration. And what happens here on the other side in the jail? So he brings back the baby girl. Devaki would be really tired, with all the thing that happened overnight. And she would just go asleep. And then she wakes up in the morning that she would not really even remember whether she gave a birth to a baby boy or a baby girl. And then everybody wakes up. Kamsa comes back. Oh, the most awaited 8th child now, my death. He comes back. He tries to kill that. As soon as he tries to kill that, let me show you this. Okay, this is how the Yogamaya appears with his 8-handed form, and she disappears. You rascal, how dare are you to kill me? Your death is already born in some other place, and he's already growing, and he's going to come back to kill you. And you cannot do anything to me. Beware, be careful that your death is going to come very soon. And she disappears. And now the 8th child just disappears. Nothing happens to that. And he cannot even kill that.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can we stop?
Sure, Mataji. Yes, I'm done.
Tomorrow we can carry on with the rest of it. So please remember where you stopped, and tomorrow we'll carry on, okay? Thank you very much. Let's all unmute our mics and say a loud Haribol to Shaila Mataji.
Haribol, Hare Krishna. Happy birthday to Krishna, and thank you to Srila
Very
Prabhupada
nice.
for giving us all this pastimes.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful session.
Hope
Thank you
I
so
did not bore you people much.
Beautiful, Mataji. It was beautiful.
Thank you very much. And
Thank you, Mataji.
we cannot offer a number of thanks to our Srila Prabhupada, our beloved Guru, because without him, we would have not had this opportunity to understand and to get this knowledge and this best benediction that we've got. Whoever knows the appearance, appearance, divine appearance of the Lord would go back, would not take birth again in this material world. So I think we all are very blessed. Let's say maybe some prayers to Srila Prabhupada Mataji.
Sorry. Okay, so what did you say? Can you repeat?
I think we just have to offer our thanks to Srila Prabhupada for
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Very nice, thank you. Let's say our Vaishnava prayers. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitalam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Shaila Mataji ki jai.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Krishna Janmashtami.
Yay, very nice. So we'll see you all again tomorrow, same time, same place, and we'll continue with tonight's presentation, okay? Thank you
Yes,
very
Mataji.
much.
Thank
Hari
you.
Bol.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare
Lord.
Krishna.